Hello, everybody. This is Mark Koep from CampgroundViews.com, and I'm here with some special guests, Mark and Julie from RV Love. Now, this is a cool interview. This is one of the first ones we've done like this, and I love that it's Mark and Julie because they're two of my favorite people, not just my favorite people, but my family's favorite people. And what makes Mark and Julie special is that they've actually been a part of our RV lifestyle and our RV journey. We originally met a few years ago up in Maine, and then we ran into them randomly. We actually passed them in Glacier National Park a few years later, and then we ran into them, literally almost ran into them at the entrance gate to White Sands National Park down in New Mexico. And we've met up many times in between, and I just love what they've done because they're not just bloggers and they're not just YouTubing, but they're actually helping drive the RV industry and make it more accessible to many more people. So Mark and Julie, first off, I appreciate that you're able to make this interview, and I love that I'm able to get here, and welcome. So I guess I'll start out with a question, and that's, it's a broad question. Can you tell our audience who you are and how you got to this point where you're RV Love and all the stuff you're doing?
Sorry. Well, thanks, Mark, and it's such a pleasure to be on this call with you too. We've always loved being able to meet up with you, whether it's on purpose or in those random accidental serendipitous things that we've had just as well. So, RV Love, it started off just as a little creative project for Julie to work on, to try and start getting her creative juices flowing and have some fun with it in our early travels. And over the years, we've just really enjoyed being able to help people with content from RV Love and be able to, it's so intrinsically rewarding when people say that we've helped them and give them confidence to get onto the road or help educate them in a way. And it's just grew and grew. And then eventually it became a point that we just both loved it so much. We both jumped into it, and that's what we do full time.
Yep.
And so then through that RV Love, how did RV Love come out of this? Was it just a domain name you bought, or was there a deeper meaning in this?
Well, it's funny because we think when we hit the road, which was 2014, we'd only been married for 3 years. And, we're still in that honeymoon phase. And here we are, 8 years we've been together. We're still in our honeymoon phase. So, love has been a very big part of our life and what we're about. It took us a long time to find each other. And we wanted to spend as much time together as possible. And RVing allows us to do that, living and working from the road full time. And so, we're all about creating a life that we love. And that is actually how RV Love came about when we decided to hit the road in an RV. Is we were thinking about what do we want for our life in the year and years ahead, and what do we want that to look like? And we wanted more travel, we wanted more experiences, we wanted more time together. And love just kept coming up a central theme. And I think it was the first couple of weeks that we even started entertaining this crazy idea of living in an RV that we just came up with the name RV Love, and believe it or not, went onto a domain purchase site and it was available, just rvlove.com, boom, $10 or whatever it was. So it was pretty amazing. How hard it is to find a good domain that you can remember and spell.
Well, and a funny little side note on that is that, we were just getting ready to explore the idea of hitting this road, and we hadn't bought our RV yet or anything, but we were really excited and trying to create this new life. And we actually bought the license plates for our RV before we had an RV because we wanted those RV Love license plates. And it's
that's awesome.
Part of helping bring it to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you got on the road, you started traveling a little bit, and so now you have the RV Love. But what's intrigued me about where you've gone now is you've been on the road now. How many years have you been on the road now? Are you at 3 or 4?
This is our 5th year, yeah.
I apologize. 5 years on the road. So you've kind of, and we've talked about this in the past, you've kind of got your chops now. You're not novices. You've done enough to experience it to where you can start teaching people. And so, that's just the courses that you're now providing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I want to say is that you never stop learning as an RVer, and we do not know everything, and I don't think anybody out there does. It's a constant, as you know, Mark. You've been on the road with your family for almost 10 years now. That's one of the things we love about it, is you're always learning. But because we both have a passion for education and teaching people, we both have a passion for coaching people, actually. We've both got a lot of life experience in that in our prior careers, in basically inspiration and education, and helping people transform their lives in our prior lives. So it's really interesting how our previous careers came together with what we're doing now to really help other people launch and to help them hit the road too, because it was a really steep learning curve when we started out back in 2013, starting the research. Pretty intense 9 months until we hit the road, and we continued to learn. But I think it was really, we were on the road, I think at least a good 2 years before we even started realizing, well, we always wanted to create this kind of material, but we knew we were not ready for a while. It takes you a while, as you say, to get your chops. And so we created... Sorry.
Yeah, actually, let me cut in there. Well, let me cut in there. So one of the things you've done and is really well, I think, is your YouTube channel and your videos, and these are just videos of you. So, I mean, is that kind of how was it through these videos that you ended up realizing, wow, we're getting, based upon what people are really watching and looking at, this is the next step. Is that kind of how you jumped into the RV success school?
That is actually, that's really insightful of you to see that, because what we were doing when we get our videos out and we have something that had some kind of educational content, they seem to have even more views than regular travel ones. Yeah. And people seem to really value that educational element. And that was actually really rewarding for us too, knowing we're helping people. Mm-hmm. And so, but with YouTube, you can only serve up snacks. You can only give up a little bit at a time, and not a big focused learning. And that's what RV Success School became, was something that to provide a much more focused learning environment so people can go to one place to have more of that education there and more organized too.
And more organized. Right. And
so instead of, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but YouTube's great for getting introduced to the lifestyle and getting inspired and getting bits of information, but it's a bit all over the shop. It is like Mark said, it's like grabbing snacks. And we created what we wish existed when we started, Mark, is that we wanted an orderly, focused, organized, unbiased, objective program that would take us through something that's not just right for us, but what is right for the person doing it. So that's where the coaching element comes in, because how we do it and what we do and what we travel in, it's right for us, but it's not right for everybody. And I think that's the really important thing we really want to get across, is I think a lot of people with our YouTube videos and blog, they like us, they trust us, and a lot of them just buy what we buy. A lot of people have the same coach or the same tow vehicle, the same towing. That happens a lot. We get emails every day, which is an honor that people trust and respect us enough to follow that. But the way we come from, it's, well, just because that's right for us doesn't mean it's right for you. And we meet way too many others that go through a series of RVs before they find one that really works for them. And that can be a really expensive learning curve. I mean, you've been...
Well, on that expensive part, you've told me a stat from one of your members, an early person who went through the success school, and you gave me a number on how much money they saved on their first RV because they went through your process, they thought through their use pattern, and they actually bought the right RV right away. And what was that number again? How much money did they save?
Oh, something like they've saved on the RV itself was over $15,000. That was on a used RV.
15,000.
15, but with other things that are in the course that, other strategies and techniques and other resources, it's actually closer to 20,000 that they've saved. And I think that's one thing that for us, when you're entering the RV lifestyle, most people are spending at least in the tens of thousands of dollars. Very many are spending in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's not difficult to do that, even with a towable and a truck. You can get up there with those numbers pretty easily. So to us, it's like, there are so many mistakes you can make as a newbie, as a novice. We all have learned a lot from experience on the road, yourself, of course, included. And if you can avoid a lot of those pitfalls, you may not avoid them all, but boy, you will avoid a lot more than it does, your investment in the course, because that's your time, your headaches. Sometimes it's a safety thing. So we've seen some people go out real excited and not really do the level of research, but we're that kind of people. I think we like to do a lot of research. We're very thorough.
Well, and also just preparing them for a lot of the other non-financial things, the emotional challenges that they might see and some of the personal challenges they might see, because those things, if you know about them in advance, it'll help prevent you from having them become stumbling blocks later. Because if you have a chance to prepare for them, going, oh yeah, I expected this, and it's easier to get through. So definitely. I think that's a lot to do with both our RV Love and our RV Success School content.
Yeah.
So then, one of the cool things that has happened to you recently, and I've one of the things I've loved is that, and maybe it kind of gives some background. So when people see blogging, they see your videos, there's actually a lot of work that goes into developing this content. You're not just throwing it out there. There's actually a plan. You have to develop it. And when you're doing these videos, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you're not just making this stuff up. Like if you're going to do a topic of something, you actually do your research in advance so that when you present the material, it's actually useful. And through that, one of the things that I find incredibly exciting for you is this new book you have coming out. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we've actually had a really huge year, a lot of work going on this year with a few big projects like that. But that was one that really was exciting. A major publisher, Simon and Schuster, actually one of their subdivisions, Adams Media of Simon and Schuster, reached out to us early part of the year. I think it was in January. And said, hey, we've been hearing your name a lot, and we really feel like you guys would be a great source to be able to write the book about RV life. And so we did. We wrote a book. It's Living the RV Life, Your Ultimate Guide to Life on the Road. And they gave us a really short timeline to write that. We did get a slight extension on it, a couple of weeks, but I mean, basically wrote that in a very short timeline. But
about a month. Yeah.
We're super proud of the book. I think it's going to be a really amazing book for people to read because it provides so much aspirational and educational content in that book, and it really lays out in an easy to read format with a lot of photos, and we're really excited about that. And that's going to be coming out here in
November 20.
Yeah, November 20.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of case studies.
And they can pre-order this now on Amazon. Okay, so my internet was giving me a hard time. So you can see me right now, right?
Yep.
Yeah, correct. And we can get that on BarnesandNoble.com or Amazon.com right now.
IndieBound. Actually, that website you were just on, that publisher website, Simon, down the bottom, this you can see there, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, BAM, Indies. It's also going to be available in Costco and Sam's Club, that kind of a thing, all major booksellers.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. I mean, when they reached out to us, Adams Media, they said, look, this is what publishers do, right? They're researching what are the hot trends, what are the hot topics. And what they found in their research is RVing, and specifically living the full-time RV lifestyle, or at least extended travel, is a hot topic. And we know that as RVers, but it's interesting in the mainstream now. This is a really hot trend. And so what they did is they found in their research that there was no book that covered the RV lifestyle that was printed by a major publisher. There were some self-published titles out there, but as you can see there, something like 500,000 units shipped last year. Now that's new units that shipped last year, 500,000 RVs. And let's not forget the size of the used RV market and all of the aftermarket stuff. So the industry is huge, it's exploding. It's billions and billions of dollars. You probably know some numbers off that. I know you work a lot with RVIA, Mark, but huge industry, and there was just a huge gap in it. There wasn't an educational, highly professional educational. So they said they wanted an inspiration meets education. And when they reached out to us and said, you guys just seem like the perfect fit for this book, we said, well, we think so too, because this is right up our alleys. This is what we love. This is the life we're passionate about sharing with people, but really giving a realistic perspective on what to expect too, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows and national parks and it's you really need to ask yourself some deeper questions about whether the lifestyle is right for you, or if it is, like how you do it. There are so many ways to do it, and it's finding the right way that works for you. And that's what the book aims to do. And there, you can see a case study here. Frida, 71, RV Frida. She's a 71-year-old lady who, at the age of 69, after her husband passed away, decided to hit the road as a solo RVer. And we love her story because it just goes to show that if she can do it, anyone can do it. And the book's really illustrated with, as you can see, photographs, but also these case studies that bring the educational aspect to life with real life stories from a really broad range of RVs and how they do it, from really frugal to really much more affluent people who do it small RVs, big RVs, people who boondock, people who camp at campgrounds, families. people who just take a year off and do it as a sabbatical to hit the reset button in their life, you know. So I think people will find there's a really great cross-section and be able to relate in some way to a lot of what's in the book.
And I mean, and so we'll go a little bit deeper on this book. So one of the things that, and we've talked about this in the past, is, and so some of our viewers might not recognize this. So they just think, oh, I want to go RVing, I go RVing. There really is a deeper importance to, you know, and obviously you have, you know, personal gain if this book sells, but it's not just that. This book actually is going to be a kind of a harbinger of future content. If this book is successful, the RV lifestyle itself will become more widely known. So there's actually a deeper meaning to folks buying this book and engaging with this book and engaging with RV Love, because, and this goes really deep. So when folks, our viewers, when you're looking at this, if you remember your first experience buying an RV, or if you're shopping for an RV, you know that what you saw on the sales and marketing materials did not, especially if you went and bought that unit and then went and used it, those marketing materials did not live up to what, I mean, they show you parked in a prairie next to a stream. And in reality, you're never parked in a prairie next to a stream unless you really, you know, figure out a way to park next to a stream in a prairie. And so what I love about your content, especially in this book in particular, is that you get down to the reality of the situation. And this actually on our end with Campground Views, this is the same thing we're doing, is we bring it down to reality. Because we believe, and I think you'll agree with this, that if folks can see what they're actually getting into, they'll make a more educated decision. And when they get themselves into that situation, they won't be surprised. And so they know, and when you're surprised, that's usually when people start complaining, right? If this wasn't what I expected. But if they know what they're getting into, they're not going to complain. And so you get happier guests, happier customers, and you have an expansion of the industry. So I think there's really something deep in what you've created here, and I'm super excited to see it. And I think, you know, let alone just selling a book, this is important. This is actually really big, important for the industry. So I applaud it, and I think that all of our viewers should definitely give it a shot, check it out. If you pre-order, at least engage with RV Love on this content, because this is really important stuff.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
Yeah, we always wanted to leave a legacy. We don't have kids, and for us, being able to create content that was going to live beyond us is just a way of you know, bringing what we love and what we know to other people and have it sort of live on. And that's why we don't do more regular daily type vlogging, which is just us in our life, because, you know, when that stops, that stops. And this is something that really hopefully lives on even beyond us. Although hopefully we've got a few
Wow.
Years. I don't know.
That's deep. That was deep. Wow, that's incredible. I mean, that gave me chills right there. Wow, Julie. Okay, so if they want to engage with you, rvlove.com is where to start, and you have all these links on here. Definitely subscribe. You have an option right here, email address. This gets onto your email list, correct?
Yep. And in the email list, out and let them know, you know, what are the latest blog posts, what are the latest videos. You know, a lot of the updates that we don't share out there publicly goes into the email newsletter. It's kind of a lot more personal stuff we share in this sometimes, but it's a great summary of other things that are going on that you may not get if you just subscribe to YouTube or just check out the blog. So, yeah.
Well, I actually look for, I mean, so I'm on a lot of email lists because I just follow the industry. I look forward to your emails, and I read every one of them from the start to the end, which is, it actually says a lot. You don't send out a lot of emails, but when you send them out, they're actually good. And so a real testament to that. So I highly recommend signing up with your email address right on there, Get RV Tips. If you are on YouTube, subscribe to their channel. Your subscribers, I mean, obviously these YouTube numbers, we can't really trust them. You got 26,000 subscribers, but you have a video that was posted 3 days ago with 17,000, or heck, a month ago with 50,000 views. So definitely the YouTube channel, subscribe there. Living the RV life. And now, in addition to this, you've got something else you've been working on, and that's coming out here in October. You wanna pitch your movie stars. Let's go into that a little bit.
I don't know about being.
I don't think George Clooney and going to enjoy about it.
But
how do I get to that? First off, how do I get to that? What should I type in?
Go to epicnomadtv.com.
Okay, and now go.
Yeah, and then you'll be able to find it from that homepage there.
Yeah, and that's another really exciting project that, you know, we started our involvement with them last summer, and we that developed throughout the fall, and then the movie was filmed earlier this year. The bulk of the movie was filmed in April, which was really exciting. We have a lot of I guess we were there in April. For the,
kind of blurring. It's been kind of hectic.
But we've got a really great group of people that are into this film, and it's going to be a documentary style film and show some of the little tastes of the life of a lot of different RVers to give a good perspective. And because this is going to be the first feature-length film about the RV lifestyle, and we're just really excited to be a part of that as well.
Yeah, and one of the other great things about this documentary too is this is a really high quality documentary. This is not a bunch of YouTubers running around with iPhones, saying, "Hey, I'm here doing this." This is really going to be interesting to the industry as well, like you were saying before about our content and our book, but. You can see we've got quite a lot of industry support here down in the footer page here, and we really thank those organisations for making this possible, because it's been a lot of work, a lot of money goes into creating something like this. Is very high quality, cinematic quality film. It's going to be about an hour and a half, I believe, something like that, 85 minutes. Don't quote me exactly on that. It's going to be screened at the Nomad Fest, which is a sold-out event. We sold that out in May, 5 months before the movie even screened. That's going to be in Wellington, but that's October 20, but everyone else can watch it from November 15. They'll be able to watch it for free online. So definitely watch this space, jump over to Epic Nomad TV and sign up for updates to be able to watch that movie for free. We've got a lot of different avenues. It's going to be screened on through Amazon and Roku and things like that as well. So maybe one day Netflix, that's the goal. So we've got pretty big visions for this project. And again, I think the timing is just right. As we found with the publisher, RVing is booming, as we all know. Sales are booming. Everyone's hitting the road. People are really disenfranchised with life. The American dream isn't kind of turning out the way a lot of people hoped. And I think a lot of people are starting to stand back and ask questions about their life and what they want and what experiences they want to have. And
actually, I'll stop you. So one of the things about the American dream, I think what's happened also is that the American dream has changed through technology, because people don't necessarily need to be stuck in one place in order to work or connect with digital. I mean, look at us. We're currently doing this interview virtually, and through technology, it's kind of changed the American dream in essence. Instead of people being stuck and doing vacations, heck, I can go live a vacation, a vacation lifestyle where I can be in these different places. So I think it goes even deeper than that, where all of a sudden RVing and travel is a real option.
It really is. And that's for people who are aware enough to notice, that you got to first step out of that box. You got to first be looking to find a way outside of that. I mean, I've made that comment before that, so many people live in the box, and then once they find their way out of that box, they can see there's all these other different ways to live the life. And that was us, close to 5 years ago. And because I had my job, and I worked in an office for many, many years, and I always wanted to work from home. When I finally got a job where I could work from home, it was less than 6 months later that I'm thinking, well, what is home? And so I started questioning, and then I was able to, because that was a remote job, I was able to take that job with me on the road, and that was what we did for the first 4 years. That was our primary income source.
And that wasn't. I mean, I remember when we first met you, you were doing that job. In fact, we met you right before you did this quitting thing. And I remember right before that, when we met you, you were exhausted. You were wearing the exhaustion on your face. You were completely worn out. And I know at that time, and obviously you've got personal stuff going on, right, that you're dealing with on the back end, and just, what you told us, we could tell that you had hit like this wall. And it was like both you and Julie were at this decision point where, what do we do next? And so I'm one of the things I would encourage people to do is go to their YouTube channel, and there's this video on quitting. And I've viewed this video. I think and you even did a blog post on this topic too, correct?
Really recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blog post related to it is the price you pay to work.
Right.
And we had a really amazing feedback on that blog post.
Search bar, Mark,
yeah, price you paid.
The price you pay, and then the price you pay to work. And that blog post had, there you go, insights on work-life balance, health and freedom. And that has had an extraordinary number of comments on that video. And I think it was a very heartfelt article. Mark was very
Yeah.
You know, what's the word I'm looking for? Very vulnerable in that, actually, really being honest. He was. And it really resonated with a lot of people in a way that I think a lot of people, you can see in this photo on the screen here, Mark had Bell's palsy back in 2013. And if you don't know what that is, it's a facial paralysis and it's stress.
Yeah, stressfully. Yeah, so just managing your stress, and that, you know, that's, so it's helping you be aware of what you are doing and then helping you create a life that you love. So that's a big part of our overall.
Yeah, I love, go ahead.
Yeah, well, challenging the way that society thinks we're supposed to live. And, you know, Western world, you know, work and workaholism, it is an issue. It is an issue here in America. It's an issue in Australia, where I was from, where I'm a former workaholic. And, you know, really trying to keep that balance in your life. People throw that term work-life balance around very carelessly, you know, sometimes you really got to focus on what that means, because you have to be very disciplined to really carve out work-life balance in your life and prioritize what's important to you and live your life by putting your values front and center, like you've done. You know, you're traveling with your family and you've got freedom to travel, you're raising your son, you know, you're seeing him all the time. And a lot of families are doing that, you know, getting more time with their family. Kids. You know, we've met couples on the brink of divorce that have hit the road and have healed their marriage. You know, it can make or break. I mean, it's not the fix all for everything. We've also met people who hit the road and worked out, and they ended up going their separate ways. But, you know, that happens in life anyway. And what, you know, I think it forces you to get real and get honest. And it's a real a door opener to a different level of intimacy with yourself, your partner, your family, and with life. And I think the people that we meet on the road, you don't know when you're going to see them again. Who would have known the first time we met, we'd run into you so many times. It's been awesome. And we've developed a great friendship as a result. But as it allows you to go in and have a deeper level connection and friendship and relationship with people than you normally would in a neighborhood where you maybe just, everyone's so busy doing life that you don't always get the time or the energy for that. And it's what we love about it.
And that's a really good point, because even if somebody ends up deciding that RV lifestyle is not for them and they don't want to go full time, I think going through that process of actually thinking about it and weighing the pros and cons, and I think that goes deeper into what you're talking about. One of the things we found, my wife and I, and then obviously now we have our son with us, is that in the RV, you know, we've got a big RV, but it's 500 square feet. And that's like massive, right? For the RV world, generally you're going to be in 250 to 300 square feet of space. So you are literally on top of one another. And so you're forced to engage, even if you don't want to engage, you need to engage and solve it. And I think just even if somebody decides now the RV lifestyle is not right for me, going through the steps of figuring out if it's right for them can bring up even deeper questions into how they live. One of the questions we always get, or one of the assumptions we always got early on, was, wow, you must be spending a lot of money on gas and you must be putting a lot of miles in your vehicle. And we laughed, because what we found is we actually spent less on gas and put less miles on our vehicle traveling full time than we did living stationary. And that was because we weren't spending hours and hours driving to all these destinations we wanted to be. We were actually in them. There are times when we all ride, and I don't know, you may or may not have the same experience, but we find there's times when we're in destinations where we may travel maybe 100 miles the entire month, because we're literally staying somewhere where we can walk or bike ride, or we're where we want to be. And so it's a different lifestyle altogether. It really is very unique.
Absolutely agree with what you just said there. And, you know, we just spent 2 months on a friend's property in Oregon. It was beautiful. We drove maybe 20 or 30 miles in the RV in that 2-month period. And that was mainly because we wanted to get some video and drone footage of the coach driving in this beautiful area. That's the only reason we drove for 20, 30 miles. But then we just spent 1,050 miles, you know, driving on the weekend to get from Oregon here to Colorado, where we are right now. But, you know, somebody commented on our Facebook post that we did. And if anyone's out there, we're on Facebook, Instagram as well. I mean, that's where we do a bit of microblogging, you know, where you can quickly put up updates. And we were commenting on, someone was commenting on pricing of diesel versus gas and all that kind of thing. And so we had this interesting dialogue about fuel prices. And it was just like, you know, you can't look at it like that. You can't look at it in the sense of ours is a 110-gallon tank and it's like over $300 to fill a tank. We're not driving it like a car. I mean, we may do that. We average 8,000 miles a year as full-time RVers traveling the country. In 2015, we did 33 states in a year. and we did 8,408 miles. And our fuel cost was about the same as our families that have a 2-car family and commute to and from work every day.
Yeah. And so we had people guess. When we went to 33 states, we had people guessing that we put over 50,000 miles on our RV that year. But it's because I think it's because they extrapolate. So, okay, well, I put 15,000 miles on my car going to and from work and small errands. You must have done 4 times that, but no, they really don't.
I think it's very surprising. And I think one of the things about the RV life that, people will find when they read the book, and it does a really great job of really setting out those examples, is putting things in perspective. Of, well, it's so expensive to live in an RV and that it depreciates and a house appreciates. And it is true, generally speaking, real estate appreciates and generally speaking, RVs do depreciate. But the hidden cost of ownership, home ownership, that people don't think about, like, property taxes. We've met people that were paying exorbitant property taxes up in the East Coast, for example, or California, and they're saving that. That money's just poof, it's gone. It's gone in taxes, or you've got your utility bills and HOA and all these other expenses and the cost of furnishing and maintaining a larger home. And look, we're not saying RVs for everyone. And I think anyone that reads will get that too. We are not here to say RVing's for everyone. You should go do it. It's great. We're here to say this is what it's about. Ask yourself these questions. Here are some facts, pros and cons. You work it out and then decide if it's for you or not, because it isn't for everyone. Or isn't for everyone long term. Someone might RV full time for a year or 2 or 3 or 20 years. I mean, it's really it's all personal. There's no one size fits all. And that's, I think, the big message I want to get across, is that we're not here to just say, this is awesome and everyone should be doing it. Not at all. It's like, here it is. You decide. Ask yourself those questions. And that's awesome. That's what's important. And even if you don't want to RV, you can go through that exercise and ask yourself those questions about anything in your life that you're interested in doing. Maybe you want to travel in Airbnbs. We've met people doing that. We've met people who travel full-time living in hotels and getting deals. Wow. Yeah, and that was interesting. He was a doctor. And but it's that's what it is meant to be about, is just, help guide you through. There is I think something like 20-something questions at the end of chapter 1 to help you ask questions to even decide whether or not you think it may be for you before you even start going into chapter 2. But I think whether somebody's considering the RV life or just considering any change in their life, any kind of something's not working, I want to do something different, I want more travel, I want more adventure, I want something more, it's a great place to start. But even if you're already on the road or a veteran, there's definitely going to be something in there for everyone. And, we're just really excited to share it.
That's so awesome. What we're going to do is we're going to do another one of these, like, say, in 3 or 4 months after the movies come out, after the books come out, and get an update on you. I'll have to fight between all the major TV shows you'll be on, so maybe you can give me a few minutes in between there. But if other people want to engage with Marc and Julie, first off, thank you, Marc and Julie. This has been a really good interview. RVlove.com is the home. Start here, and then they've got links to everything that's going on. Subscribe to their email blast. Definitely look at the book. Definitely look at the movie. Where is that? Epic Nomad TV. Definitely look at all that stuff. Marc and Julie, I appreciate you coming on for this interview. I love what you're doing, and thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thanks so much for inviting us. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, whether it be on the phone, on this interview, or in person. So we always look forward to the next time we can meet up.
Yeah, we appreciate all that you do for all of us RVs too. We love Campground Views, and we've found some awesome campsites through your website. So I just want to say thank you for that as well, because you're an amazing resource. So appreciate it.
Thank you. And for the viewers, I hope you've enjoyed this interview. Leave some comments below. Obviously, engage with Marc and Julie at RVlove.com. I'll throw links down into the comment section so you can find all these things we've referenced in the interview. And if you enjoyed this and you think this will be useful, please share it out to other people. Like it. We love having you here. Thank you. It's Mark Koep at CampgroundViews.com. Talk to you later. Bye.